expect heavy spoilers for every single game on this list. I'm not going to shy away from talking about events or deaths or anything that happens to these characters. So if you see a character on this list from a franchise you want to play or you're interested and you're scared for spoilers of it, just skip through it or mute it. Just you're you're at risk, okay? I'm putting you at risk, buddy. Next up, another kid character. Although even younger, we're going my boy Hugo de Rune. Now Hugo is he does have some shit moments, but I would say for the most part, Hugo is just the nicest kid you will ever meet in any game ever. He's so fucking sweet. He does so many adorable things, and you're playing as his older sister Amicia, so you're kind of his protector. This game, the Plague Tale games fuck me up, man, and Hugo's a large portion of that because he's dealing with the macula, basically a illness within him that you could look at as a doomsday clock for him and the world if it's not dealt with. But he's just a kid with this insane power to control rats that he doesn't even want, that he feels guilt over when they go to a place that he feels is his home, somewhere he can lie down, and then it's just all destroyed, and he feels like it's him. Even if he can't control it, it's this theme that he was born with that he is causing. And is going global. Millions are dying, but inadvertently, without, like, he's not doing it, but he is the reason it happens.
Hi. Don't look. Keep your eyes closed.
Alicia, what happened?
It's the rats. They attacked.
No. No.
We're leaving, Hugo. I'm sorry.
It's like my nightmare. It's because of me.
Calm down, please.
No, it's my fault.
Plague Tale is the type of game that, like, it's hard to talk about without getting emotional. Like, there's one scene in Requiem where he's talking to Amicia on a boat, and he's just like, "It's okay, Amicia. It's fine if I die." And he's just like distraught. Like, Fuck, man. Because also I played Innocence, like, I don't know, like 2019 or something. So going back into the shoes of these characters in that world, that brutal fucking world of Plague Tale. And you just got this innocent kid who really had a belief of a dream of a phoenix that might be able to cure him, and then that's dashed. And he's seen the cruelty of the world when they're getting hunted down and there's like slavers. And you just want to fucking protect this kid. But everything's falling apart. He's getting in worse condition as it goes along. He's feeling guilt as it goes along. He's being told he's going to die. He's lost his father. He's lost his mother. It's a brutal game. Whether it's Innocence or Requiem, I think they both offered great storylines for Hugo. With Innocence, it's like Hugo learning his powers and what he has, and also just Amicia and Hugo, even though they're siblings, Hugo is isolated in a room. Amicia doesn't really know her brother. And so you're learning how Hugo is, and like this kid that's isolated in this room, he's like the sweetest kid ever, and he wants to learn about everything, and he's so trusting of everyone, and that's just getting crushed throughout Innocence as like shit just goes terrible. But he's still so fucking sweet at the end of the game. And then you go into Requiem, and it's just like pain. Everything, everywhere they go gets destroyed. Hugo can't control it. His disease is getting worse. He has these visions of a dream. You get to the dream place, and it's like people who abuse their power, and they see him as a protector, but they want to control him and rule over more. And then there's like this whole, you're seeing other ancestors that have dealt with the macula. I forgot their names, but it's pretty much just hundreds of years ago, and Hugo sees what he is in a child and how they fucking tortured that child. He was chained up, and Hugo could relate to that. Then with Amicia dying, he gives into the, or him thinking Amicia dies, he gives into the macula. He says, fuck the world, and you gotta kill him. You gotta kill him. You are doing yourself a disservice for playing the Plague Tales with it spoiled. Because that Requiem game, getting to the point where you finally have to look the reality that was staring you in the face and you gotta kill Hugo. Oh, that shits. But yeah. Rip Hugo. Shout out to the room.
It awoke in Hugo's blood when he was a baby. It keeps growing inside him.
And it's killing him. Is that?
The carrier. They imprisoned him.
But why?
They were scared of him, of his power.
He was sad. So sad and angry.
Your friends speak truth. And it changes nothing. You can hate me, but that's a choice I must make. As your father, I must look out for you, especially when you can't look out for yourself.
You treat me as if I'm still 5.
I treat you as if the shadow from the worst day of our lives is going to suffocate you and take you from us too!
In a complicated game like Clair Obscur, the way I'll kind of explain which Renoir I'm talking about, it's not painted Renoir. We're talking about the Renoir who's the curator, the one who's looking over you kind of throughout the whole game, although you don't know it, and trying to kick out his wife so she doesn't die. Renoir, great performance by Andy Serkis. He's one of my GOATs. Caesar, honestly, might be my favorite film character. Just in all of the movies. Caesar might be the guy I point to, say he's the GOAT. But Andy Serkis plays Renoir as a father, as someone who's protective, and he's really the voice of reason, at least for me, because I know people have different interpretations of the ending, but Renoir's view connected with me the most, and I think it really hit home with Verso and made him make that final decision, because Renoir's watching his whole family fall apart. That's basically what it is. He's trying to protect him, but he gets in a war with his fucking wife in the painted world that seems like it'll just never end. And then he's seen it about to happen again with Mael, and he just can't take it. But at the end of the day, Mael is his daughter, or Alicia. Sorry, it's complicated. I look at Alicia. We'll get to that because they definitely make the list. But he sees his daughter, and he ends up believing her. Keep the light on for you. I'll dip out. But his speech still hit home with painted Verso. Jumps in, kills it off, able to save the family. Renoir's the character that is probably the most right throughout the whole game, because he's never, like Verso, you might be, I connect a lot with Verso's motives, but Verso be lying. Verso be letting people die because they might get in the way. Verso can be selfish at times. The way he handles his sister, his painted sister's death, is a bit hypocritical. Again, we'll get to that because he definitely makes the list. But yeah, I really love Renoir as a character. This is one of those characters that, like, not a ton of scenes. The main majority of the scenes for this version of the character, he ain't even speaking. He's the curator. He's helping you, but you don't really know why he's helping you. But I think motively speaking, he is the light at the end of the tunnel for this family. He's the one fighting to keep them alive. And shout out my OG step of Renmar. Like, obviously, there's a lot about Renmar you don't really know. You don't spend a ton of time with this character. But my ending, personally, is the one where Verso destroys the canvas. I believe Renmar is the person that's going to help Alicia / Mael be able to grieve but move on appropriately and not uplift a world that will slowly drain her away and kill her, which is what would have happened if there was no stepping in to stop it, whether it would have been Mael or Alicia or their mother. Renmar saw the problem and he was fighting hard so his family just wouldn't be destroyed by grief, and that he's a perfect, like, when I talk about Clair Obscurum, what it's about, the main thing I say is just grief, and Renmar is the one fighting to stop it, like in the actual world of this shit, not this. Well, I love Renmar.
Destroying it won't bring your wife back. It will only destroy the last tie you have to each other. Keep the light on for you. I hope you find peace. Hold on to each other.
When life flashes before us, we find something. Something that keeps us going. Something that pushes us.
As far as Lara Croft as a character goes, it's hard to touch on because she's an iconic character. Obviously, if this was just off of iconic status, Lara Croft can get as high as 10 in the same likes as a Mario, Master Chief, Kratos. She would probably be in that company. But with Lara Croft, how I'm looking as like a written character, I'm only looking at the 2010 games because of those are the ones I've played. And also, I think Lara Croft tonally changes a lot from what I've heard of the older ones. Just the tone of those games are different, and it's a Lara Croft that doesn't seem as similar to the modern one. Although it's not the modern one anymore, since there's going to be 2 new Tomb Raider games. And based off of those trailers, I don't even think that Lara Croft I would feel comfortable ranking as this one. I'm based off the forecast of there being dinosaurs and her going back to that witty humor, not as serious nature that is in the 2010s Tomb Raiders. I would probably say that is a completely different version of Lara Croft. So, how I'm looking at this is the 2010s version of this character. She lands on this nature because I enjoy her passion for archaeology. She has that same trait of Nathan or Indiana Jones, where her scenes where she's describing some ancient relic, you can really feel that passion in her eyes. And even though, but out of the 3 Indiana Jones, Uncharted, and Tomb Raider, this Tomb Raider trilogy really feels the most like life or death out of any of them. She still retains that passion, and it doesn't feel like something she's fighting to survive all the time. It also feels like she wants to discover. Moving to that survival aspect, she also shows a lot of grit. I mean, especially in that first one, they throw her through the ringer. She's getting pierced through objects. I mean, there's so many sequences that are memorable in those games, and it really felt like a survivalist game at points, especially, again, that first one. With the bow, with the traversal of, like, the plane crashing. It's been a while since I played it. It's not one of the most fresh games, but I just remember it really feeling a lot more gritty. And I was caught off guard by how much I connected to, like, the survivalist instinct in Lara as a character. When normally when I play these games, I thought it would be, a bit more Uncharted-like. And in the gameplay it is, but story-wise, it's a little bit different. From the way people describe the old Lara Croft, to me she seems a bit more lacking and generic, similar to that of previously mentioned characters that land on this list, like Leon. Leon probably wouldn't make it on this list if Resident Evil 2 Remake and Resident Evil 4 Remake didn't come out. Because while I do love those games, I found the character of Leon to be a bit generic. In the remakes, I thought they did a good job of fleshing him out more and did enough to really make him land on this list. I don't want to diss games I haven't played, but I really appreciate, the point is, I really appreciate Lara Croft in these newer ones. I like the character study of this adventure seeker, and I think it might have been buried a little bit because there was also Uncharted going on at the same time, and Uncharted was really hitting its peak as Tomb Raider was like in the middle of its trilogy. But Lara Croft was a great character. Is she my favorite one of these adventure characters? No, but I think she's a very solid character. I'm excited to see where the new one goes with that version, because I plan on doing these every 5 years, maybe 5 years down the line. This Lara Croft maintains on the list, and the new version also is on the list. So now I'm in a situation where I'm ranking Lara Croft twice. I think that's how I'd approach it. I wouldn't combine them based on the one where she's like on a dinosaur, like running from dinosaurs and shooting them. Like that Lara Croft, in no way can be the one in this one. To me, they're so defined. But that's it.
I thought I had to fix everything. But the mysteries of the world are to cherish more than to solve. I'm just one of their many protectors. I'm not sure what the future has in store, Jonah, but whatever adventure's on the horizon, I can't wait to meet it. I'll try not to take myself too seriously.
Ironic, isn't it? For one who has the right to be a god. To face his own mortality.
The right to be a god. That right is now mine.
Wesker is a very fun character. They also do butcher him a lot. Or I won't say butcher, that might be a little extreme. But Wesker's personality changes a lot throughout the Resident Evils. But he makes this list for being a very fun villain regardless of the fact. My favorite Wesker is probably 5 when he's doing his little phasing. He's like peak villain era. That's the Wesker that I always look back on as my favorite.
Your feeble attempts only delay the inevitable. The entire world will be infected.
His rivalry with Chris is probably the main rivalry throughout Resident Evil. It happens throughout 1, it's a little in Code Veronica, and it concludes in 5. And then you can see that the after effects of Wesker kind of ripple into 6 with the Sun arc, and they even bring Chris back because he's really used from 5 on. Wesker might be a villain that like Capcom didn't know what they were doing with all the time, and I think Resident Evil as a whole can kind of suffer from that. But I think regardless, he is a very entertaining villain throughout the series. And I straight up think he makes some of the best moments in 5. And Code Veronica, he's also great every time he appears on that. And Code Veronica, one of the strongest Resident Evil stories up in any of the like pre-7 Resident Evils. I think Code Veronica has a great story. A lot of characters I will talk about arcs or like character growth. Honestly, with Wesker, he ain't really doing all that. That's a little too much to ask for him. But I think his nature and his weird behavior really just lands him on this list. Again, Code Veronica and 5, I would say, are the main contributors to this list. 1, he's solid. 4, there's not a ton there, but I appreciate him being in Resident Evil 4, and I do like his end speech at 4's conclusion when he's on his little boat. I think that leads into 5 pretty well. But Wesker's a solid villain.
We have all we need. We continue. As planned.
I've always been with Umbrella. And stars were umbrellas. No, rather, my little piggies.
Whatever it takes. I'm here.
Gears was the franchise I played after Halo, because, you know, I don't know if Xbox is still known as this, but definitely in my time, it was like Halo, Gears, and Forza for Xbox. So I went Halo, then Gears. I did end up playing a Forza game. They're not exactly my theme, but the Forza Horizons, those shits are fire. Forza Horizon 5, I really did enjoy. Anyways, off topic. It's been a minute, but I always appreciate Marcus' demeanor. He isn't like what you'd expect for like the central figure character. He's a lot more muted than a lot of other like protagonists. He isn't the most. You're never gonna see Marcus like really monologuing at people or showing a ton of emotion. But through his actions, he is a very caring character. He has thrown his life on the line countless times, and he has been through a lot of shit. Through the Gears games, you pretty much watch him go through a lot of shit. Specifically, the one that, of course, is going to stick out is, spoilers, Dom's death. And that obviously changes him. Marcus isn't really a person that seems driven by motivations of, like, climbing ladders or anything like that. He really is someone that feels like he's committed to his job to protect his friends, to protect his family. And I don't think he is necessarily, like, the deepest character, most complex out of any of the characters on this list. But sometimes, for me, that doesn't really matter. It's just about my experience in the games and attachment I form. You spend a lot of time with Marcus. My memory is a little hazy. I know he's in 1, 2, 3, and 5. 4, for some reason, gun to my head, I can't name it. I think 4 is the one where they introduce his son. Could be wrong. It's been a while. But every game I've played of Gears, my favorite character has been Marcus. He has been the standout for me. And I think there's a reason he's the face of the franchise. I think he kind of embodies the themes of Gears and fighting to protect your family. And, you know, he doesn't make sacrifices, but you really feel like he would. But he's affected by all the sacrifices that happen around him.
We have no idea Maria's down here, and
I need to know. You don't have to go with me, all right?
Damn it. That's just gonna get us both killed. We need to get into the stronghold and activate the beacon. This is it, Dom. This is everything we've been fighting for.
Yeah? Well, Maria's everything I've been fighting for. She's my fucking wife, all right?
So you gonna turn your back on your whole world, then? The other Gears we fought with? All the people who've died?
I'm sorry, Marcus. After what you did for your father, I thought you'd understand.
The people need her inspiration.
Your inspiration was my wife.
Open your mouth. Open. Open it. That's it. How does it taste? Shh. How does it taste? The gunpowder of the bullet that killed your friend.
Irene is one of those characters, I have to say, this is not an endorsement. Very bad individual, very evil individual, but I can't help but be captivated by her presence. That is the reason she landed on this list. Wolfenstein 2, I played, was that 2017 game? 8 years ago. And Irene was always someone that caught me off guard for being so, like, weird. Disturbing and weird are the two words I would describe her. But damn is she captivating. I would say, I think she's similar to Voss, where every scene she is on screen, I am like glued to over what she's going to do. Whether she's going to cut someone's head off, kiss them, or put them in your face, the decapitated head that is, or she doesn't really have freakouts, or she'll be a little more elegant. But every time, I'm interested in what she's going to say. Simply put, I'm just always interested every time Irene's on screen. I think she's one of like the best villains in games. She's evil. She is abusive to so many people around her. Her own daughter. She's psychotic. She genuinely is terrifying, and you're kind of just looking like, how do the people that are even working for her trust that she won't kill them when they are with her? Because she is so fucking crazy. But they're probably scared to even step in line in front of her because they don't want to get that psychotic energy directed towards them. A great villain. I would say she is like the main reason I really got interested in Wolfenstein, was like wanting to fucking kill her, because goddamn, she would piss me off and scare me. And oh my god, fucking Irene. I think the death scene with Irene is one of the most satisfying kills in a game of like the main villain. And BJ's quote to her at the end, the shit's amazing. I really think Irene should be talked. She's one of the characters that should be talked about more. I never see her name in the Wolfenstein in general, actually.
We would have been so good together. Darling, you're breaking my heart.
The old and the weak are doomed.
I thought she was here, and now she's gone. Were these eyes ever filled with a lover's gaze? Do you think? Kiss, kiss, kiss. What? Das ist nicht komisch.
So I guess I'd become what they wanted me to be. A killer. Some rent-a-clown with a gun who puts holes in other bad guys. Well, that's what they had paid for, so in the end, that's what they got. Say what you want about Americans, but we understand capitalism. You buy yourself a product and you get what you pay for. And these chumps had paid for some angry gringo without the sensibilities to know right from wrong. Here I was, about to execute this poor bastard like some dime store angel of death. And I realized they were correct. I wouldn't know right from wrong if one of them was helping the poor and the other was banging my sister.
Here we got a character that could be a lot higher if it was off more than just Max Payne 3. I know 1 and 2 are probably huge narrative games also, based on, one, its Remedy, and then playing Max Payne 3 and how much like Max truly like carries that game. I mean, the gameplay's great, obviously, but like how much there's just voiceover and dialogue and the style of Max Payne I could talk about, but Max is a great ass character. I mean, he's definitely flawed, drunk a lot, destroyed by grief. One of my favorite lines from it, I'll probably get it wrong, but he's like, I've been in this bar for the past 3 hours or 5 years. At this point, doesn't matter. Something like that. But that's just a perfect like embodiment of the state he's in. And even when he's getting picked up to like help this family, he's like so detached and in pain. Like the real pain. Not the pain he's inflicted on enemies. This is a just depressed ass character. But if it's the great one-liners or the great, just he's always spurting out shit that makes me go, damn, this guy could talk. He's a great talker.
So I guess I was finally about to go and experience the other side of Sao Paulo firsthand. The bit people try to ignore. The unpleasant memory they try to obliterate with cocktails and helicopters and parties and lines of blow.
He might make you depressed if you like talked with Max Payne, because he's definitely a nihilistic person, but like his wife and daughter died, and I feel like that's a little understandable for how nihilistic he is and all the shit he goes through. Just in 3, I don't even know anything about 1 and 2 or like what actually happens within those games, but just the state he's in 3 and how he is able to actually do some good by the end of it and protect his buddy and I don't remember the lady's name, but he's able to get a happy ending with them, at least get a little bit of redemption for feeling like he let his wife and daughter down. And will he ever move on from that? Fuck no. He's probably right back to doing alcohol and painkillers and getting fucked up, diving over couches and shooting people. Probably not shooting people. Maybe with a Nerf gun now. He might have retired from natural gunfire. I don't know. Who knows? But Max Payne was great. This game was so much fun to play just 3. I eventually want to get to 1 and 2. But for now, Max Payne makes it right here off of only 3.
Here I was again, with all hell breaking loose around me, standing over another dead girl I had been trying to protect. We'd only been married a short time. By now, she'd been dead longer than I knew her. I still hadn't really forgiven myself for the Mona business, but I knew that was just grief. The insanity that comes with losing the life you had built. Michelle, I missed her with every part of my being. I hated the world for not killing me with her, and I hated myself for allowing this to happen to her and our little girl.
Wait, that's...
Ciel?
What? How? You guys?
Next, we got a character that in my first, if I was only doing this list off of my first playthrough of Claire Obscure, she wouldn't have made it. There's another character who also wouldn't have. We'll get to them later. But Ciel came in on that second playthrough. And I really resonate with her character more. I hope I don't butcher the writer's name for Claire Obscure. Jennifer Svanberg Yen. I might have butchered the Svanberg part, but she described how like every character she was writing was like a reflective of a certain age in her life, and I believe for Ciel she said like 30s, like the older age, where Lune is the younger, more confident age. Ciel leaning in like 30s. Like when you look at it like that and how she explained it, it really makes sense with how Ciel operates. And like she is the rock, the one who can always keep a positive attitude. But she feels like she's grown a lot through her years, and you learn about this through her backstory and what she's been through and how she almost took her life. And what she lost because of that action. Oh, cut the can. This shit gets you. Oh, even if her husband was to come back, she can't even look at him anymore. Like, just the I don't. When I'm listing out the characters, credit writers. Mainly that, like, I can only fit so many fucking things on my screen, but. Seriously, all the Claire Obscure characters are so beautifully written. It comes out of the motion capture, the performances, the writing, and they all can be so different, even if the same person is doing the motion capture for characters. I got on a tangent there, but I think Ciel is such a strong character who was like forged through trauma and was able to come out the other side looking with a better outlook on life. Like, Ciel feels like the character when you got all these people going through shit. Ciel could be the one that is that hand on the shoulder. It's like, hey, bro, I understand you. I've been there. And we're going to figure this out, boss. That's exactly how she'll say it. And I really connected with her on that second playthrough. It's not that I didn't like her in the first one at all, but just like the context of everything that happens, and Ciel's just such a rock for everyone. And then the part that even makes her character so much better for me is like the heartbreak of she was finally going to get something for her. Like, she could have got Pierre back. And even when Verso took that away from her, my interpretation of that final interaction between Ciel and Verso is still like an understanding one. I have my own preference for the ending of Claire Obscure. I like Verso's ending. That's the one I don't know if I could say I like it because it's painful. But That's the one I see as the right thing. But I get why people would say Mael when you got a character like CL that's been through so much trauma. And it's like, you want to see them happy. And she can have Pierre back. She obviously, it's going to be hard. You got to tell him some things, some unfortunate truths. But when you not only deny that to a character you spend so much time with and get connected to, but you then erase them, ending them forever, done, dusted, flowered, goumaged. It's heartbreaking. So, yeah. I love CL as a character. A rock foundation character. Someone that I don't think gets the credit they deserve for being the one that's able to be the almost big sister to the entire group. I wouldn't call her a parent to the entire group, but I would say the one that keeps everyone from going off the rails, at least at some point.
It's okay. I've learned to be grateful for the time we did have, instead of angry at the time we lost. I desperately want Mael to bring everyone back. To bring Pierre back. But I don't know how to tell him. I lost our baby. Dark and personal, right?
Who's there? Who's there?
Bring us the girl and wipe away the debt!
What do you want?
We had a deal to win!
BioShock Infinite is such a good game. I love this game. It could be my favorite BioShock. And I mean that as no diss to the other two. I think all three of the BioShock games are incredible. Could get on a tangent about how I want BioShock to get remade or I don't know if I want to really do a new one, but BioShock's just a cool franchise. I would like to see it adapted at least. Like, can we get that in the movies? That would literally probably be my number one franchise I want to see as a movie, besides like a Resident Evil where they do 7. But I get way off topic. Booker DeWitt is a very fascinating character, and it's another. You're probably gonna see this guy a lot. He might end up being the actor who's on here the most, Troy Baker. Troy Baker is so good as Booker DeWitt. And even though you don't really see, there's no animations really, you're not really seeing Booker DeWitt's face. The story and the weaving and the multiverses, which can be generic, but I thought worked in BioShock well. And also this was before multiverses really getting hammered out. That happened a lot in the late 2010s. I feel like Booker is dealing with him, Comstock, Elizabeth, the deal he made, and losing his daughter and what she became and the mission he thought he was on. There's so many different things going on in Booker DeWitt's brain that he doesn't even know about. He goes through a lot of hardship from wounded knee and like burdens of obvious addictions. He's a downtrodden character. There's like a bunch of different realities of outcomes of what he could have done and previous versions or alternate versions of Booker influencing the version that we see at the end that ultimately comes to the conclusion that he needs to be killed. I wouldn't say Booker's like a completely understandable character or someone to root for. I mean, he sells his daughter. Yeah, he kind of goes back on it, but I mean, anyone that was in that mental state because of his gambling addiction and the debt he had to pay, he was obviously in a rough spot and also did atrocities. Could that be a bit of age factoring? Because I believe at Wounded Knee he was like 16. He shouldn't even been there. Yeah, but Booker, the game does not hide that Booker is a flawed character. And that is why I believe at the end of the game he allows himself to end, to break the cycle, so whether he doesn't become Comstock or it kills off all variations, it gets a little messy. But besides all the mindfuckness going on with Comstock and him being Comstock and letting himself die so he doesn't become Comstock, I also just really enjoyed Booker's relationship with Elizabeth and learning that that's his daughter and kind of getting redemption for the things he did before Infinite set off. He was able to settle his debt, not in the way that he expected, but it's a really good story on just a character level. Even if all the multiverse stuff can confuse you, you'll just connect with Elizabeth and Booker's relationship. I think it's one of the best companion games, as in player character, side character that's following you. I don't think there's many games that are as strong as Bioshock is, as having just a sidekick main character relationship that goes on throughout the entire game. Infinite's great at that, and that's my shit when it comes to games.
Smother him in the crab.
Smother. Before the choice is made. Before you are reborn.
And what name shall you take, my son?
He's Zachary Comstock. He's Booker DeWitt.
No. They're both.
That's the only way to do it. Go back to when he was born. And smother the son of a bitch in his crib.
Dad!
Monsters. Sephiroth. Soldiers. Mako. Shinra. I'm sick of this.
Now, I've not played the old Final Fantasy VII. I'm waiting until I finish I'm waiting until all three of this trilogy comes out, and then I'll probably go back, like I've never played it. Go and play the OG 7. So this is strictly remake and rebirth Tifa. And for all of the Final Fantasy VII characters that stories aren't finished, they can probably jump a lot further. I mean, I do love Tifa. I just kind of, the reason she's not higher is I want to see how the story concludes. I feel like there's a lot more room to grow, but I'm not. This is where I'm at right now. But there's still a whole other game that's probably going to be like 80 to 90 hours. So Tifa can jump a lot. She wasn't on the list off of just remake, but remake plus rebirth plops her up on this list. She's going to grow if a new one comes out. And it's good, which I expect it to be because the last two were great. Anyways, Tifa as a character, I've enjoyed, but she was never my favorite, especially spoiled it. There are two other characters from Final Fantasy VII that will be higher as far as party member characters. And the reason is, I just felt like they had more standout moments in the Final Fantasy VII games. And not to say Tifa doesn't, but like I can point back to those characters and say this moment and this moment are like moments where I was like, damn! Tifa doesn't have that, but Tifa does have a. Well, actually, she I can actually do that. I take back what I just said. I guess it's just not as strong. Tifa's moment where you're learning of her father's death and attack, where Sephiroth and the village is getting massacred, I think is a great moment. But it showed her point off part and what led her to kind of being this resistance fighter you see today. Along with that, Tifa is strong, but she's insecure in a way that you kind of look at her like, you are so fucking nice, so much of like a genuine soul. What do you have to be insecure about? But it's all the shit she's went through that you learn about. This goes for a lot of the Final Fantasy VII characters, but when you first see them and you kind of see like their outfits and maybe the way they're coming across at the start of the converse, like meeting them, they seem little out there as characters. But then just throughout time, you see their moral compass. They're actually a lot more grounded than you thought they were. And I think Tifa's about the perfect example of that. Tifa is probably the best stable person, I guess I could say, out of like the main four. And yeah, I mean, not to say she's stable all the time, but she's like going through a lot of shit and keeping it in mainly, whereas a character like Barrett has a bit more of explosive personality. Tifa has the same goals in wanting to stop Shinra as people like Barrett, but she also is tied down in a moral compass that like it's a strength that she was able to keep considering the devastation that was brought upon her, and how Cloud really is the only one from her childhood she still has. Everyone else is dead, gone to shit, ruined. Jesse Pinkman. But anyways, I enjoy Tifa. Now, I lean Aerith. Okay, if that's a conversation we're gonna have, I'm gonna say I lean Aerith. But I do enjoy Cloud and Tifa's friendship. Friendship.
They symbolize reunion, believe it or not. I was curious, so I looked it up. I tried to keep it alive as long as I could. But now, it's dead and buried. Like the bar, our home, and everything else.